Good day, good people. Merry Christmas in advance. Greetings to every one of you out there. And I thank you for this opportunity again that I'm coming live this Wednesday to present my books to you, especially the new publication that I have. Thank you for connecting. Please just share, like, and click the notification button so that in case I come live next time, you should be able to know. Please, in the next few minutes, I would just like you to share as we prepare to start this presentation. Thank you for connecting. I'm grateful that you made our time to connect this afternoon. I really appreciate it. And we have a two agenda presentation today, Wednesday. The first one is I'm going to present one of my books that was published this year. And the second part of this show will be to make an appeal for support for IDPs who are suffering in the English-speaking regions of Cameroon. And I would really like that you share this recording, let it get to as many people as possible. WhatsApp numbers are attached to this presentation, so you can be able to reach out to us after the presentation using those WhatsApp presentation. I'm so honored that you are already connected, and I plead with you, please share the link and let us get to as many people as possible so they would be able to benefit from this presentation. Thank you, Brother Armstrong, for coming on. Try to share and get many connected right now. In the next 1 minute or so, I'll be starting the presentation. And while waiting, please, let's get as many as possible connected so that we can have a great program together. Remember, I have two agenda on this presentation. The first one is to present one of my books, which is my newest publication. And the second part will be to appeal for support for our people who are suffering in the Northwest and the Southwest regions. Thank you, Sister Sylvie Taku. I'm glad to know that you're connected. Please get as many as possible connected. And let's make this presentation a success. And right, I'm going to start right away. I'm not going to waste your time sitting here for so long, and I pray to be brief. I come your way today to do two things: to present one of my books that was published last June, and also to raise some support for IDPs who are suffering in Northwest and Southwest regions in Cameroon. And I will go straight to the presentation of this book. Actually, God has given me the pen of a writer, and by the grace of God, I have already 8 publications, and 5 are school books, chemistry based, and 3 are what I call life books. Yes. For the first 5 publications, which have been in the market for so many years now, I started writing in 2008. I actually have 5 chemistry workbooks in the market for forms 1 to 5, which are being used by colleagues in different schools in Cameroon. And in case you have not met any of them, I would like to recommend them for you to get them for your children, to get them for your schools if you're a teacher or a principal that come across this presentation. I have Chemistry Workbook 1, Chemistry Workbook 2, Chemistry Workbook 3, Book 4, and Book 5. And I call them Chemistry Practice Book 1, Chemistry Practice Book 2, Chemistry Practice Book 3. I have Chemistry Practice Book 4 for Forms 4 and 5. And there's Chemistry Practice Book 5, which is based on Alternative to Practicals, which is the present section C of chemistry ordinary level. One such rare books that meet with the demand of the program or the standard of the program at this time. Then I have 2 other books before what I want to present to you now. I have this one, Prayer Bullets. I published Prayer Bullets in 2015, around the month of September. And it's actually a prayer manual which would help Christians who want to pray. And without much time to go through the presentation, I just have chapter 1 talks about effective prayer. Chapter 2, sanctification and consecration. Chapter 3, your love for God. Chapter 4, your dealing with evil family foundations. Chapter 5, the spirit of the wasters, which is one of my favorite chapters in this prayer manual. Chapter 6, overcoming evil satanic manipulators and enchanters. Chapter 7, supernatural and abundant fruitfulness. Chapter 8, oh God, give me total rest this year. Chapter 9, supernatural favor. Chapter 10, my God, remember me and give me all that belong to me. Chapter 11, dealing with satanic spies and satanic taskmasters, a good one you want to consider. Chapter 11, chapter 12 rather, oh God, deliver me from unnecessary labor and struggles. You might want to get to this. Chapter 13, angelic presence and ministry. Chapter 14, one of my favorite chapters too in this prayer manual, friendly enemies. There are some people around us who pretend to be friends, but they're actually enemies who have been assigned to destroy, stagnate, to bring us down, and we need to know how to identify and deal with them in prayers. And finally, in the prayer bullets, which is the title of this first book, I'm presenting to you now, Marriage and Home Attackers. Marriage and Home Attackers is a very important chapter in this book that I will come back to it some other time. And in this other book called Still Single But Not Desperate, it's actually a book for singles, and it's a great hand book for singles who want to settle down well. A wealth of experience helped me to be able to write this book, and you might want to grab a copy. It has 7 chapters for Still Single But Not Desperate. It has 7 chapters. Chapter 1 talks about the genesis of marriage, what was in God's mind when he was instituting marriage, or you can call it the purpose of marriage. Chapter 2 is how to choose a life partner. It gives you those practical guides on how to choose the right person you would want to spend the rest of your life with. Chapter 3 talks about maximizing your singlehood. While waiting, while looking, what are you supposed to be doing? That is handled in chapter 3. Chapter 4 deals with wrong reasons why people marry. Out there, it is observable that many people marry for many reasons, and sometimes for the wrong reasons. Yes, and beauty is one of the wrong reasons why people marry. Money is one of those wrong reasons. So you might want to grab a copy of this book and you read it. And chapter 5 talks about godly singles golden rule. Godly singles golden rule. There are singles and there are godly singles. What are those rules that they abide by? What are those things that they do? What are those things that they don't do because of their relationship with God? That is what you might want to see in chapter 5 of Still Single but Not Desperate. Thank you for connecting. Please, as you connect, share and encourage somebody to get connected for as we get on in this presentation. Chapter 6 of Still Single but Not Desperate talks about love signposts. What are those things I should look up to be sure, look up to, or look for to be sure that I am in love? How do I know what's happening to me is not infatuation? How do I know it's not just the physique of that person or the money or the family background that is pulling me towards that person? What are those things that I would want to see to know that I am truly in love or I'm truly loved by the person who pretends or who purports to love me? And finally, in Still Single but Not Desperate, I have the last chapter 7 talks about prayer for singles. While single, it's important to pray because prayer can do a lot for us. Okay, praise the Lord. Thank you for staying on until now. I don't be too long since I have 2 parts in this program. I want to leave you as soon as possible. And I go to the book of the day. This is the book I really want to take some few minutes and present it to you. I hope you can read the title. It says The Informed Teenager. The Informed Teenager. This is my new book that I published in June 2021. The Informed Teenager. Appreciating who you are and making the right choices. Appreciating who you are and making the right choices. So in the next few minutes, I'm going to delve into presenting this book, The Informed Teenager, which I will recommend to you as a must read for every teenage child, boy or girl. Because I would just like to read a few things from the preface, and I will get back to presenting the book in proper. The preface reads, over my close to 2 decades of teaching secondary school and youth coaching, I found out that teenagers lack the right information about their body, the changes they experience, and the information they need to make the right choices early in life. And since information is power, it is therefore my hope and conviction that adolescents will be able or will be better equipped to make informed choices, which will help them live more meaningful and productive life. Thank you, my friend Brother Jordan, for getting connected to me. Right. The Informed Teenager is a book that is born out of experience. I am a teacher and I've been teaching for close to 2 decades now. And my experiences with young people, both in school and in church, and of course in the community, is so rich, and that I decided to put together this material. I decided to compile it so that people I will not be able to get to them can just grab a copy of this book, read it, and get a better information about who they are, what changes are taking place in their bodies, how they should behave when they feel the way they feel, and what choices they are supposed to make at their very young age so as to stay safe and also to be able to achieve much in their life. There is a very big problem today, and that big problem is the chase of money. Parents are busy chasing money. Parents are busy working, busy pursuing careers, busy pursuing business ventures, busy pursuing and executing contracts. And when we are busy doing all of these things, it's unfortunate that we do not give enough time to bring up our children and to give them the attention they really need. We can't allow children to grow on their own, and we expect them to know the right thing. And we expect them to do the right thing. It is difficult for us to have children to grow on their own in this world where there are a lot of distractions, a lot of evil is going on, a lot of immorality, a lot of drug, a lot of cultism, and we expect our children to be on their own and they are able to know what is right and do what is right. And in my experience as a teacher and as a youth coach, relationship coach, of course, too, for so many years now, I have noticed that many of us parents don't give our children the right information about them, their bodies, about their sexuality at home. And sometimes these children are embarrassed with some of the things that they experience. And sometimes when these children come home to ask us some questions, we don't give them the right answers. Maybe because we don't have the right answer, or because we have the right answer and we're ashamed to give them the answers the way they are supposed to give them, or we consider it a taboo talking to our young children about sex, about the changes in their bodies, about their feelings, their emotions, the hormonal changes that are going on, the physical changes that are going on. And because of this complexity, we leave these children on their own. And the only time we remember to talk to them is when they do a wrong thing. It's when we discover that they are doing the wrong thing, either getting involved with the wrong friends, or getting involved in drugs or alcohol or into immorality, or they are developing some behavior which we consider not good. That's the only time we talk to these children. And it's actually a wrong time to talk to them. Because what is normal is that when children do the wrong thing, they come home ready to defend themselves. They come home ready to fight back in case you want to tell them anything. And because we fail to give them the right information, since children need to know why their breasts are growing, they need to know why hair is growing in some part of their body. They need to know why they sleep in the night and they experience wet dreams. I think you know what? A discharge of a milky substance, which we call semen, in their pant, or why they feel sexually aroused. Why is it that when they are beside this person, they feel a little sweat that will come out in their body and a kind of smell that will come out of their body? They're feeling uneasy because they are feeling sexually aroused, and there's nobody who would want to talk anything to them about that. And sometimes when they dare to ask their brothers, their elder sisters, they coach them and tell them to keep quiet because what they are thinking about is wrong. They don't even dare to come to talk to us parents because we will not want to listen to them and will not even want to tell them anything about sexuality. And this keeps them in a state of confusion. And sometimes they are forced to go to the internet to search their information. They are forced to talk to friends to get the information. They are forced to talk to people out there to get the information. And what is unfortunate is that in their quest, in their search for answers, sometimes they enter into wrong hands. And there's this story that I was told of a little girl who was in primary school, and she had not had information about her menstruation. She had not had information about what to expect and how to prepare herself for menses of her menstrual cycle when it begins. And this girl was embarrassed by it in school, and she went to a male teacher and talked to the male teacher about it. That she went to urinate, she felt asked to urinate, and when she went to the toilet, she discovered that blood was coming out of her vagina. And when she told the male teacher this, and the male teacher being an immoral person, a man who doesn't have respect for children, what he told this little girl is, the blood coming out of your vagina is telling you that you are supposed to start having sex. That's what it means. And because this child had not had any previous information about preparing for her menstrual cycle and had no information on home or from home on how to handle this kind of situation, and since children believe so much in their teachers, yes, they believe so much in their teachers, this little girl had to believe what the teacher said, that having her menses would mean that she is supposed to start having sexual intercourse. And because of this, the teacher told this little girl, you have to start having sex with me, because that is what the blood coming out of vagina means. And this little girl was deceived. Sister Florence, thank you so much for being faithful to my shows. God bless you. I'm really blessed to have you. And this little girl, not knowing anything alternative, what she did is she had to succumb to what this evil teacher said. And this teacher started abusing that little girl, started sleeping with her. And it took a long time before the parents could be able to notice what was going wrong with this little girl. And why did this girl fall prey to this kind of situation? It's because the parents at home failed in giving her the right information about her body. They failed to give her the right information about the changes that are going on in her body. They failed to give her the right information about what she should do to prepare herself for the eventualities that are going to come to her because she is growing and her body will be changing. And when I heard this, and of course, coupled with many other things that are happening, I'm in school and sometimes students come to me, young girls most especially, sometimes boys, and they tell you what they are going through. You know, they will need help. They need to buy some materials to prepare for their menses. Or you see, one of them will send a friend to you to get some tissue and all of that. It led to me thinking of what to do. And you see some of these children do the wrong things, not because they really want to, not because they like to. I remember last academic year, one of my students ran to me and she told me that her classmate kept touching her breast and kept touching her buttocks. And she was not comfortable with it. And this girl was 15 years old. She wasn't comfortable with what was happening to her. And she went to a discipline master in the school to complain about what was going on. And when she told the discipline master shouted at her, calling her a bad girl. That why is she thinking bad, having a bad reasoning or interpreting what the boy is doing to mean a wrong thing, and drove that little girl from there. And she left there and came to my office crying. She was in tears, crying, and she came to my office. And when I asked her what was going on, she explained to me what she was experiencing. I gave her a listening ear, and after she explained all what she was going through, I had to call the young boy in common, Reverend Balemba. Thank you for getting connected. And I called this young boy who was touching her breast, touching her buttocks, and I had to talk to him in a very friendly manner to educate him on what he was doing, the consequences of what he was doing, and to help him to stop doing what he was doing to that little girl. And thank God, this boy who was doing that's called sexual harassment. For those of you who know what I'm talking about, this little boy who was sexually harassing this boy or this little girl had to stop. And I told them to become friends, classmates, and study together, but not to do things on others and another person's body which they are not comfortable with. And I imagine that this girl didn't have a listening ear. This girl didn't have somebody, and she actually told me that she reported the issue to her mother at home, and the mother would not want to talk anything because the little boy in question was the son of her mother's friend. And you see this kind of situation where children find themselves. They don't know what to do because we fail to tell them what to do. We don't want to tell them what to do. And the next thing is when they do the wrong thing and come back, the only thing you want to do is to pick up a cane. The other thing you want to do is to call for the father, to call for the uncle, to call for the elder brother, to come and beat them up, to come and brutalize them. And you have done nothing to help them to grow and to make the right choices. With all of these things put together, I was then inspired to come up with this book, which I'm presenting it to you today, The Informed Teenager. It's going to help you. You need to give this book to every child in your house, which is 9 years and above, or at least buy a copy for the family, because they need to be informed. Some children start experiencing puberty at the age of 8, 9, especially the girls, and they need to be prepared. They need to know what to expect before these things begin to happen to them. And it is going to help you to break that barrier of communication that you have between you and your child concerning sexuality and their bodies. It's going to help you to talk about those things that you think that they are taboo, that you don't have to delve into. I have people who have bought these books for their children, and they are giving me testimonies of how this book is helping them talk to their children about sexuality. And I have a particular friend in Cuba who keeps discussing with me on the kind of questions that the children are asking her after reading this book. And sometimes it's difficult for her to answer those questions the way she should answer, because it has always been a taboo to us talking about sexuality to our children. But I want to encourage you that you grab a copy of this book instead of buying expensive toys for your children or letting them idle this holiday. Please help them and give them a copy of this book. Chapter 1 of this book talks about understanding your body. It helps the little child or the teenage child as it's growing to understand their body. When we had our first child, and one day my wife wanted to talk about my daughter's genital. So, it's an issue. If you have to talk about the genitalia of a child, it's like you want to look for a soft way of talking about it. In the Northwest, for example, Northwest of Cameroon, of course, they try to talk about toto and all of that. No, I told her, you call it genital. Of course, at a certain stage, you know what language to use. And at one point, you start now going into the deep part of it to talk about the vagina, the penis, the testes, and all of that. And of course, the child has to understand the different systems of the body, the different organs of the body. And this will help the child in proper communication. And this will also help you to be able to talk about certain things without getting feeling uneasy when you have to talk about the child's body. So that when something happens to the child should be able to communicate to you in exact terms what the child wants to tell you. And it's important that every child understand their body, which organs they have, which systems they are, how they function, what are the things that happen to those different parts or organs or systems of their body. And it's important for them to know that. The second chapter of this book talks about changes at puberty. And this is a very, very crucial chapter in this book. What happens at puberty when the hair begins to grow in the armpits? When the hair has to grow around the genital area, or what we call the pubic regions, or when the hair begins to grow on the chin, or the girl begins to experience some hormonal changes, which could be leading to a lot of emotional changes. And sometimes we really overlook this, because sometimes we see our children grow muddy, their moods are swinging and changing so rapidly, and you really would always think that they are having something to do with a boy. And instead of being friendly and talking to them to understand what is happening, you come in a very harsh manner and you don't let them express themselves. Their breasts are growing, and some of them, the breasts grow so big, bigger than that of their age mates. Some of them, the breasts grow so small compared to those of their age mates, and they are wondering, they are asking questions in their minds. And some of them they don't grow as fast as their classmates or age mates. Some children will grow very fast during puberty, the early stage of puberty. Some will grow fast, but around the end of puberty. And the children need to understand these differences in their growth process, which they should not necessarily be like their mates. And we see some children growing up to hate themselves because they have developed very fat breasts, and some of us use it to insult them. Some parents use those fat breasts, big breasts that they have developed to insult these children. Or you have a boy child who develops a lot of pimples or a lot of hair while she's entering just her teens, and you get worried, and then you make some comments about the child that makes the child uncomfortable. Or you see a child try developing some likes about some certain activities, and instead of trying to orientate them and try to help them to understand what is happening and guide them on how to behave as they experience those changes, we come in backlashing. There are a lot of hormonal changes that take place during puberty, and we need to help these children to understand. And since you might not be a professional, since you might not know what to do, getting a copy of this book and giving to your child will just be one way in helping that child to understand the changes that are taking place at puberty. So they need to understand the changes that are taking place in their bodies, both the boys and the girls. The changes in their hips. Some are worried why their buttocks are growing so big, why their hips are growing so big, why their voices are so deep. And some would wonder, why is it that the voice of the age mate in that other house is getting deep as a boy, but their own is still very small? They need to understand these things. And some of them are worried about when they are supposed to expect their first menses. You need to tell them this and what they should do when those things happen. And some of them are having sexual feelings, and they don't understand what is going on. Boys are having erections, girls are having some kind of sweat and smell and, developing wet in their vagina region, and they don't understand what is going on. And some of these things, we need to talk to them about them. Their emotions are changing. They are getting overly sensitive, and they are struggling to look for identity. They feel uncertain. They have a lot of peer pressure. They belong to groups of friends who tell them, if you want to show that you're a big boy, then you must do this. You must have a boyfriend. You must smoke. You must drink. You must hang out at night. If you want to show that you're a big girl, then you must, have a boyfriend. You must, be able to dress like this. And they need to find that they are struggling to understand what is happening with them. Their moods are they are very they are becoming so sensitive about their self. That's why you see that even their dressing begin to change, because it is all in their struggle to find identity. They try to look for models. They try to behave like some people. And without any guidance, without counseling, without a support system, they might end up doing the wrong thing. And that is why you need this book to help them, so that they will be able to understand what is happening in their body and know what they have to do. The third chapter in this book talks about body hygiene. And I would say that body hygiene is not just for teenagers. Even for us adults, we really need that. Sometimes you are close to some people, and the kind of stench that you get from them is so embarrassing, and sometimes it becomes very difficult for you to tell them. Because sometimes some people don't use the basic things that will make them clean. Just soap and water. That makes them clean. And some hairs which have grown in some parts of the body are not supposed to remain there. The hair in the armpits, the hair in the pubic region around your genitals, they are not supposed to remain there. And you have to shave them. You have to stay clean. You have to do a lot of bathing. You have to take care of your teeth, mouth odor. You have to take care of yourself during your menstrual cycle. And some ladies wear their parts for too long, and those parts begin to develop some stench, which, are a problem to people who come around you. So we need to help these young children to understand how to take care of their bodies, because Feeling good gives somebody a sense of a strong personality. Yes, when you feel good to yourself, when you look clean, when you look neat, it contributes in building a positive personality. And we need to teach them how to do these things and to also avoid the use of so much chemicals on their bodies. All of that is contained in this book and will help these teenagers to find their way in life. Thank you so much for connecting. Please keep sharing as we go through this book presentation. The Informed Teenager. That's the book we're talking about today. And it's one of my publications. And I would like you to grab a copy. If you like to talk to young people, grab a copy. If you have teenagers in your home, grab a copy for them. If you're a youth leader, grab a copy. A Sunday school teacher, grab a copy. A parent, give your child a copy of this book this holiday as a holiday gift. And let them be occupied reading and not wasting their time or idling away doing nothing important. Chapter 1, I said, is talking about understanding your body. Chapter 2, changes at puberty. Chapter 3, body hygiene. And chapter 4 talks about sexual harassment. Sexual harassment. And this doesn't just concern the teenage child. It has to do with every other person, every male, every female. And we need to help our children understand what is sexual harassment. What is it all about? And we need to be able to encourage them to report sexual harassment when they happen. And I told you earlier that if you don't give your child a listening ear, if you don't present an environment in the home that makes your child feel free to talk about or to talk to you about certain things that are happening to them, then you might be exposing them to a lot of danger. You might be exposing them to a lot of trouble. And that's why it's important for you to grab a copy of this book so that you can help them to understand what sexual harassment is all about and how to deal with sexual harassment and where sexual harassment can take place. We know of incest in families, and those things don't just happen. Yes, an uncle who comes to the house and is always with your girl child and is always giving gifts to your girl child and not giving to your boy child, it is something you have to think about. It's something you have to really consider. That could be a bad sign. Thank you, my friend Saltwater. I'm glad you're connected. That's something you need to really think about. And sometimes you need to be watchful for these signs. Yes, when sexual harassment, it takes place in the home, it takes place in the church. We have children who are being raped by pastors, who are being raped by church leaders. Some women are being raped by pastors. And we have sexual harassment in the workplace. We have sexual harassment in school. We have it in the office. We have it in the market. We have it everywhere. And children need to understand what sexual harassment is all about, how to identify them, and what to do when these things happen. And you can help them to get that understanding by getting a copy of this book, The Informed Teenager. They should know what sexual harassment is and how to deal with sexual harassment when it happens. And I keep emphasizing, parents, make sure you give your child a listening ear. Make sure you are available to your child. Don't keep chasing money. Don't keep chasing contract. Don't keep chasing work, business, and you abandon your children. What will be the use if you have all the money and lose your children to immorality, and lose your children to drug, and lose your children to crime, and lose your children to cultism? What will you really benefit? For whom will you even leave those things you are running after if you have to lose your children? So please get a copy of The Informed Teenager for your child. We move to chapter 5. Chapter 5 takes a look at sexually transmitted infections. Teenage children need to know that one of the reasons we tell them not to get engaged into sex is for their own good, to preserve themselves and to keep themselves from sexually transmitted diseases. And they need to have an understanding of how these diseases are transmitted, what the diseases are, and how to stay away from those diseases, and what will happen to them if they catch these diseases, because they can actually stay free from these diseases if they stay free from sex. So we need to help them understand this, and this book is going to help them. Chapter 6 talks about substance abuse. Substance abuse talks about the use of alcohol. I've actually talked about the use of alcohol, the use of drugs like cocaine, what you call marijuana or banga, tramadol, tobacco. Of course, those are drugs, and they need to know what it means to be suffering from substance abuse, and of course, how you get into abusing these substances. And of course, the consequences or the impacts of these things on their health, on their academics, on their future, on their career, they need to understand these things. And one of the things I always like parents to do is, there are certain things you should not do with your children. Never send your children to buy alcohol if you don't want them to drink alcohol. Never send them to go buy you a cigarette if you don't want them to smoke. Never send your girl child to go and call a girl for you if you don't want her to be a prostitute. Never send your boy child to go and do something for you if you know it's something that you don't want your own child to do. Parents, substance abuse is something that we have to fight, because with modernity and globalization, and with their access to the social media, a lot of things are happening. They are being exposed to a lot of things, and there are new drugs, there are new things they are testing out there. Some of them, they take them to have sex, to have courage to have sex. Yeah, some of them don't really want to have sex, so they need to have something in them to encourage them to do it. Some of them, they just take some of these things to belong, so that they can call them big boy, big girl, in a group of friends. And with peer pressure on them, we need to expose them to real knowledge and information that will help them to make the right choices. You need a copy for your child. The next chapter is chapter 7, which talks about your dress. The chapter says your dress speaks. And this is a very important chapter to me, because we allow our children to dress carelessly. And even some of us parents, we dress carelessly. In those days when we were growing, it was very easy to know the difference between a single woman and a married woman just by their dressing. But times have changed negatively, because today you would not even sometimes be able to identify a single or a married woman in a group of single ladies, because they all try to be fashion. And of course, your dress, what you put on, gives a lot of information about your personality. It gives a lot of information about your value system. It gives a lot of information about your religion. Stop telling me you are a Christian but you don't dress like one, because what you have inside is what must be manifested outside. And if you are morally upright, then it should be made manifest in your dressing. There are some kind of clothes that I don't put on. Yes, because they don't portray my personality. I remember some years ago, around 2004, a friend, a sister in Christ, gave me a shirt. And when I got the shirt, I thanked her for it, and I gave it to a younger person. I said, this shirt doesn't look like me. Now, there was no bad writing on it, but it didn't portray my personality. I don't like things that are too flashy, that makes a different presentation of who I am. And that one was like the kind of clothes that yours are, there's, guys, they wear, and, I'm not one of them, so I choose not to dress like them. It was not a bad dress in terms of looking good, but it didn't just portray my personality. So your dress actually speaks. It portrays a lot about who you are, your value system, your morality. It tells people even about your future profession. It's sometimes possible to look at somebody and guess from the way they dress, a child, from the way they dress, to begin to imagine what they can become in the future. And that is chapter 7 of this book. And chapter 8 talks about career choice. These children need to know how to choose the right career. They need to know what to do in order to be what they really want to be. And they can only do this when they have the right information. And the last chapter of this book talks about career choice. It teaches these children on how to make the right choices of future career. What they should read now and what they should not do now, and how they should comport themselves how they should get their studies seriously in order to make it tomorrow in life. You will really want to have a copy of this book in your house, at least one copy. And there are numbers attached to this presentation. WhatsApp messages only, please. Send us WhatsApp messages and tell us where you are, and we shall get copies to you. If you are anywhere in Cameroon, a minimum order of 10 copies can get to you anywhere in Cameroon. But if you're around Boya, you can get a copy, because I am my marketer is based in Boya, and the books are available in Boya. If you're in Boya, Limbe, Motengene, Tiko, Moyoka, you can easily grab a copy. But the books will be sent to you at your own cost. And when you get to us, we shall discuss about that. If you have, if you order many copies, 50, 100 copies, you're going to have a discount. And you'll get to me for cost. I don't want to put it up because different currencies will have different cost. Of course, if you're in the US and you would like to grab a copy, I have a few copies with me in the US. I'm based in Sumter, South Carolina. You can grab a copy for your teenage children. This could just be that thing or that information that you were looking for to put things right. I'm also available. You can get to me to counsel your teenage child, or you can give my number to them if they have issues, they have questions that they want me to answer. I'm available to answer their questions. And we're planning some programs in June 2022 when I'll be back to Cameroon, and I would want you to be part of it. And if you want us to organize a program in your zone, in your area, even before that time, let us know. In your church, with a group of children that you counsel, I don't know where, let us know and we shall be able to do so. If you think we can organize a Zoom meeting and you get some children connected, that we can talk to them about some issues which I have mentioned in this book, please get to us and we shall arrange that. Remember, if you need a copy, the numbers are attached to this video. And let me just give you this quick number. If you have a pen, you can take this number and get to me by WhatsApp. Of course, my number is 685 684 643. 685 684 643. If you're out of Cameroon, then you add +237 to that number before you save it so you can get to me. Okay, on WhatsApp. On WhatsApp, if you call, it wouldn't get through. If you want to call me, please, I prefer WhatsApp. One of those numbers attached to this video, which is American number, is my personal number. You can equally get to me, whatever situation, and we are going to talk about it together. God bless you. That's end of part 1. And in the next minutes, thank you for staying on. Reverend, thank you, Reverend Balemba. I can still see you on. Thank you, Sister Florence. Thank you, everyone else connected. My friend Saul Walter. God bless you. The last part of this presentation, please, is a special appeal. In the next 10 minutes, I pray I will be out of your way. A special appeal. Our people, wow, thank you very, very much, Reverend Balemba, for putting up the number in the chat region for those who would want to take it. Thank you, sir. I really appreciate it. Yes, the last part of this presentation is a special appeal I want to make to you. Our people in Northwest and Southwest are suffering. They are suffering. And there is no way we can close our hearts to what they are going through. I've been assisting IDP with my organization, Hope Family Life, for years now. And to tell you the truth, I've gone into the bushes of Banga Bakundu several times, and some of them have come to town several times to pick up provision from my house. And I've organized programs in our church in Motengene, the Apostolic Church in Motengene. Even before I left Cameroon in July, I organized one of those programs to distribute food, clothes, and shoes to these our people who are suffering. I will get back to you with the cost of the book, my friend Brock Waters. And the truth is, people are suffering. Some are in the bushes and they don't have anything anywhere like a family or any house or anybody to take care of them. There are some of these children who have been out of school for 5 years now. Recently, we launched a fundraising for one of these children. And it is still on. If you want to support, please get to me and I'll give you details. And there are some of these people who go hungry. They don't have food to eat. I remember the last distribution that I had in July. I almost shed tears in church after the program, because one of the IDPs who benefited from this came to me after that and appreciated me and said, since the war started, that was the first food that she was receiving from anybody, whether individual, whether NGOs, whether the government of Cameroon. That was the very first food that she was receiving as assistance. And beloved, I receive calls almost every week of people getting to me saying our numbers are out there for support. Recently, we had one of our sisters from the Northwest who ran to Kutaba because of the war. She hails from Bansor. I've never seen her. I don't know her. And she got to us. She needs food for the children. They need clothes. They need shoes. And she told me there are so many children who are there who are not going to school. Some of these children don't even have any birth certificate. So even to enroll them in school is a challenge, because when they were running from the burning that took place in their localities, they picked nothing. Some of them ran with just the clothes they had on themselves. I remember the first time I went to the bushes of Banga Bakundo to give them provision. I went with some clothes, some bags of rice, and shoes. And I was so, emotional. What I felt that day was so heavy. I met people there who were moving barefoot. They are living in the bush. They are moving barefoot. They don't have any shoe at all to wear. I didn't say they didn't have good shoes. They didn't have any shoe at all to wear. Some were moving on with torn clothes, and they didn't have any clothes to change. And when I tried as much as possible to see that they didn't fight over the things that we brought. We succeeded to distribute the food without a fight. But when it got to the shoes and the clothes, there was no way we could help it. They had to jump over the things, and they pull and pull and pull. And I remember vividly one man who picked one side of a lady's shoe, and one other woman picked the opposite side of that same shoe. And they were pulling it. This one would say, give me the other side. The other one said, no, give me the other side. And I was so sad when this pa made a statement. He told this woman who was pulling the other side of the shoe, he said, you even have a pair of shoes, but my wife doesn't have anything, and she has been moving barefoot all this while, and please give me that other side so that at least my wife can have a pair of shoes. Beloved, you have shoes under your bed. You have a lot of shoes in your house that you're not even wearing at all. Some are your own, some belong to your children, and they are not even using those shoes. You have clothes in your wardrobe you have not worn for the last 6 months, 7, 8 months. Some you have not even worn for years. Please, what are you keeping them for? when there are people who don't have clothes to wear, when there are people who don't have shoes to wear. Let it be known to you, please. There are people, some of them in this Christmas, which is coming up in a few days, who will not have even slippers to wear. Some will not even have any little thing to eat. But some of us will have so much to eat and to waste. We have bought so many new clothes for our children, so many new shoes for our children. We have bought a lot of shoes, good things. We are planning to buy a lot of chicken, a lot of meat. I'm not saying you should not enjoy the good things of life. Please don't get me wrong. But please, as you enjoy the good things of life, remember our brothers and our sisters who are suffering. Remember our brothers and our sisters who are suffering. What I'm begging you to do is, please, look around in the neighborhood where you are staying. Look for an IDP. Invite that one to your house on Christmas Day. Give them some food. Give them some clothes to wear. Show them love. If you are blessed that you can organize a whole feast and invite them to come and eat and celebrate with you, please do it. Please do it. Please do it. We are really begging. Do it for these people. They need our help. We are the family they have. A few weeks, last week or so, I received a video from Motengene of a child who just left the bush and came to town. She had not been in school for the last 5 years. This child desires to go to school. Please, if you want to adopt this child by taking care of the fees of this child, get to me. There are so many of them like that. If you want us to link you to the children directly, that you help them directly, we have no problem with that. We'll be very, very happy, more than happy to link you to them. Whole Family Life, which is an organization I'm leading, I founded in 2014. We have been doing a lot for these IDPs. But we don't have all it takes to give them all that they need. So if you want to give your donations through us, fine, we'll be happy to channel those donations to the people who need them. We promise you that any money we receive from you, we give 100% to the IDPs. That's a promise, and that's what we have been doing. If you want to give them food, you don't know how to get to them, please get to us. We can help organize them for you. We can organize them and you distribute the food in your name or in the name of your organization. If you are a structure and you want to reach out to these people, we will do the groundwork and organize them for you. We will present to them that you are the one who gave it. You give us your pictures, your logos, whatever you have to present to them as your organization, we will present it to them. If you want to give them clothes, get to your wardrobe, please. Get to your wardrobe. Gather, go to your children's bags of clothes. There are clothes that they are not using. Some children are being born or delivered in the bushes. They have no clothes to wear. They have no clothes. I want to thank Tabby Helen from Bamenda. She leads an organization. I think Tabby Helen or Honorine, please. I might be missing the name. Last year, she gave us good bags of baby clothes that we took to the bushes and gave to children who were born in the bush without anything. When you see videos and pictures of children born on plantain leaves, those are not made up pictures. Those are real pictures. And some of us, we are there only talking. We don't do anything. Please get to us. If you don't know how to get to them yourselves, get to us. We can help them. Give us shoes. Go to your house, empty those shoes, remove those clothes you have never been using for a long time. Please bring them to us. Get in contact with us on one of those numbers which are attached to this message or to this video. Please get to us. Tell somebody you can do a collection from your friends. Gather clothes, gather shoes. Even you're in the diaspora, please get to me. We can always arrange on how we can get those things shipped back into Cameroon so that we can give them to our people. We are not sponsoring any war. We are not supporting any war. We are not defending any side. We want to help our suffering people. There are many of them we have taken to the hospital. We have paid their bills. You can be part of this move. Please get to me with any donation, financial donation. My number, the American number has WhatsApp. Sorry, it has a Zelle. It has Cash App linked to it. If you want to send money to me right here, send it by Zelle on that number or on Cash App. If you want to send money directly to Cameroon, to my accountant there, who will gather everything, we promise to give you all the reports in video and in pictures of what we have done with your money. You can get to my accountant on that number that starts with 681. That's 681-564-63. 681-564-363. 681-564-363. That number, you can send Momo to it, MTN mobile money of any amount. Give us the details. We shall give you all the feedbacks on whatever we'll be doing with your money. You can trust us. You can get to our website, www.hopefarmlife.org. I'm going to put the website and our Facebook and YouTube links as a comment to this video. Please get to us. Don't close your heart from these people. They need your help. They are suffering. They need your help. Please reach out to them. Don't enjoy on Christmas Day alone. Give a gift to these people who are around you, who are suffering. If you don't know how to get to them, please get to us. We will know how to channel your gift. Give us clothes. Give us shoes. Give food, bags of rice. Give money to make birth certificate for these children. We need school fees to pay. This child that reached out to us, I'm planning that by God's grace, if the provision is there by January, that little girl who sent a video of her not going to school for 5 years, wants to start school, and she's now in Mutengene. I'm trusting God for her to start school in January. I'm just trusting God for the provision. It is the needs and the demands are so much that it's difficult to meet all of them. The number that you can send Momo to Cameroon straight to my accountant is 681-564-363. 681-564-363. And when you give the money, get to her with a message, your name, the purpose for that money, and give us an email address so that we can be able to get back to you with the feedback. Thank you, Reverend. Thank you so much for putting up the number. Yes, we will be able to get back to you to tell you how much we receive from you and to show you proof of what we have done with your money. Please, you can trust us. We have been doing this work since 2014, even before the war started. We have been helping orphans. Go to our website, go to our Facebook page, go to our YouTube channel. You're going to see evidences of the work we have been doing. And if you want to be a support, a push to hope, the activities of Hope Family Life, please get to us and let us put a smiling face on our people. They are suffering. They are suffering. I tell you the truth, they are suffering. You need to go to some places. You see 25 people living in one room. There was a young girl who reached out to us from Boya. There were 8 of them in one room. 8 of them in one room. Didn't have nothing to eat. There are many reaching out to us from different places. They are suffering. Please, you can get to us. you can be of help to these our people. Don't just go to Facebook and comment and post things supporting this or not supporting that. Our people are suffering. Whether you support the war or not, that's not even the question here. It's about the suffering people of Northwest and Southwest. What they are going through is actually unbearable. Actually unbearable. And as you know, houses are still being burnt. Many of them are still going into the bushes, living at the mercies of the mosquitoes, the snakes at the mercy of the weather, developing all kinds of diseases. Lately, shooting took place in one place, I will not mention that name, and some of the IDPs in the bush ran and wounded themselves. One of them reached out to me, but personally I have exhausted my own finances, and there was no way I could help. There was no way I could help. Please, if you want to support them, if you want to support our suffering people, get to us, and we shall channel your gift. The next organized donation we want to do will be in January 2022. And we will only announce the date when we have the materials. And I'm thinking to do it late January. So if you can get to us before that time, we'll be very grateful, more than grateful. They need food. They need even small capital. If you can do something, if you have a house in a place which is safe and you want to house some of these people, let us know. Some of them are willing to leave the bushes, but their houses have been burned. They don't have any place to go to. If you have a house and you want to house some of them, please let us know. We can get to those ones who are willing to leave the bushes, to come back and stay in safer places. If you can provide a shelter for them and help them to settle in town or in a safe place, we'll be grateful. God bless you. We are looking forward to hearing from you. Have a blessed weekend. Merry Christmas and happy 2022 in advance. Shalom.